Anyway, I've got a question from a member of the public.
Okay.
It is, you have represented all three wards on Pencoed Town Council at some point over the last decade and more. Why did you leave Pencoed Town Council, and do you ever have any intention of returning? I think you mentioned why you left, because you lost your seat, wasn't it?
No, no, I didn't. No, I didn't lose my seat on Pencoed Town Council.
Oh,
But the reason is a similar reason for leaving the Conservative Party. And it wasn't a personal slap in the face, but it was a question of meritocracy. So there's a massive lack of meritocracy in politics, which needs to be addressed wholesale. Now, as you said, I've represented all three wards in Pencoed on Pencoed Town Council. And at the time, I think it was 2018-19, I think this was, although I may be wrong, no, I think it was. I was deputy mayor of Pencoed at the time. So the normal progression is that you become mayor the following year. And this was when I resigned my position. So it was a big deal for me, a really big decision, because I would have been mayor of my hometown. And I'm sure you'll agree that this would have been a great honour. You know, it's a great honour for somebody to become mayor of their, and basically the, you know, the leader of their hometown, or certainly in to actually represent your town like that is a great honour. So when there was a by-election caused, as a result of, I believe, a sad death of one of our councillors, an election wasn't called. So for people who are watching this who don't know what the state of play is then, it allows existing town and community councillors, wherever they are, to co-opt to adopt someone of their choice onto that council. So at this stage, and I was the deputy mayor and a member of that council at the time, there were 4 applicants. So essentially they put in their application a bit like a job application, CV, etc. And all of these candidates were supposed to be considered based on merit. And it is my opinion in this case that this wasn't the case when co-opting a successful candidate. So as a result, the majority party on Pencoed Town Council was and still is the Labour Party. But regardless of party, I would still have said the same if any other party had done the same. Guess what? The only candidate considered and adopted onto the council was the only Labour Party candidate. Now, this is not based on merit. In fact, none of the other applications which we had on that evening were considered whatsoever. So I thought this was absolutely disgusting. So this resulted in me calling Pencoed Town Council a kangaroo court and all of this. I was referred to the Public Services Ombudsman as a result. I resigned as deputy mayor, I resigned as a councillor, and as a result, to cut a long story short, I have absolutely no intention of seeking re-election to Pencoed Town Council until such time as the people on that council change, and until such time as this party politics, which I mentioned earlier on, at this level of local government is totally extinguished. Because not only does this particular town council not engage with the local community, in my view, I think it needs to change, and this party politics needs to be, you know, a very low priority, and the community needs to be at the very heart of their decision-making process.
I think that's true with any level of government, but more so at community council and county council, because it has immediate effect. It has an overwhelming effect, more so than national politics or Senate politics.
Yeah, so this decision was solely based on merit. It had nothing to do with personal my personal position, because actually on this occasion it was actually doing me out of a personal achievement in that I was deputy mayor at the time. So whereas you can say, you know, you could argue that, oh, I resigned and threw my teddies out the pram because I didn't become the candidate for the Conservative Party, which I suppose, you know, that's a legitimate opinion to take, although it was a decision based on principle as well. In this particular case, it was solely because the other people who I thought had greater merit for the position weren't considered. And I thought that was a real shame and you know, quite disgusting, really, of my fellow colleagues to solely elect someone based on political party affiliation.
So would you say this is another system that needs to change in a way, like the electoral system, that if somebody doesn't call an election for a vacant seat on the town council, which does cost the council money, as
Yeah.
we all know, to hold
No,
the election.
there's a vacancy now in Penfrisk for town council.
Yeah.
As a result of Luke Fletcher, member of the Senedd, being elevated to his position in the Senedd, there was a choice to just let it slide. However, I've encouraged members of the public to exercise their democratic right and ensure that there is an election because of this very reason. Now, even though it does cost £3,000, £4,000 to host to hold an election here in Penfrisk for the forthcoming election, and I suppose there is an argument to say there are elections next year. You know, it's co-option of another Labour Party candidate, and I say that as the Labour Party because that's the situation here in Pencoed at the moment. However, I would say exactly the same if it were the Conservative Party as the majority party in another area in the county borough. So I'm not having to go with the Labour Party here. I'm just saying this is what the situation is here in Pencoed. I just want the candidate who the electorate choose to represent them, not someone who is elevated to that position based on party political affiliation.
And I'd just like to point out that councils don't have to find the money for the election in the budget because they have to put some aside for in case an election's called for whatever reason anyway. So the money is set aside. Whether they use it every year or not is a different matter, but there is money that is automatically set aside in every budget that should be there every year.